Worsts, corporate interference in the news? I'll defend you, Billo. Revisionist personal history in Worst Persons as Billo denies one of his most beautiful quotes, the one about, MFer, I want more iced tea. Tonight's special comment on the politicians of both parties holding up health care reform and the health sector companies to whom they have sold their souls. That's next, but first time Countdown's number 2 story, tonight's Worst Persons in the World, brought to you tonight by Fix News, celebrating 6 days without having fired Glenn Beck, even after he called the President of the United States a racist, and even after they basically claimed he didn't really work for them. The bronze to Brian Stelter of the New York Times, front page story Saturday, about a, quote, deal in which, as the headline read, voices from above silence a cable TV feud. Problem? Mr. Stelter asked me at least twice last week if there was such a deal, and I told him on and off the record there was not, and I told him I rather obviously would have to be a party to such a deal, and I told him that not only wasn't I, but I had not even been asked to be by my bosses, and he printed it anyway, and I had even written to him that this was merely a misinterpretation of an announcement I made here on June 1, that because Bill O'Reilly of Fox News had abetted the assassination of Dr. George Tiller, he'd become too serious to joke about, and I would thus stop doing so. An announcement that would obtain, unless and until, of course, I felt like changing the rule again later, since this is not the U.S. Constitution. Here it's a half-baked television newscast, and I make all the rules. So, tonight's runner-up, Billo the Clown. After the arrest of Professor Gates, the Frank Burns of news went back to his excursion 2 years ago to meet some black people. Remember when I went up to Sylvia's and had dinner with Al Sharpton and said on my radio show, you know, Sylvia's is just like any other restaurant in America. It's a nice place with nice people. I got served great. And then the left wing turned it into I was denigrating, saying, oh, he didn't think Sylvia's was going to be nice. Yeah, that's not what you said. Billo on September 19th, 2007. I couldn't get over the fact that there was no difference between Sylvia's restaurant and any other restaurant in New York City. I mean, it was exactly the same, even though it's run by blacks, primarily black patronship. It was the same, and that's really what this society is all about now. There wasn't one person in Sylvia's who was screaming, MFer, I want more iced tea. You know, I mean, it was like going into an Italian restaurant in an all-white suburb in the sense of people were sitting there and they were ordering and having fun, and there wasn't any kind of craziness at all. Bill thought there might be a human sacrifice between the salad and the entree. Racist clown. Imagine dinner shave Billo. I'm happily surprised you haven't stabbed me with the steak knife, dear. But our winner, Rupert Murdoch. How would you like to be Roger Ailes right now, or Bill O'Reilly, or anybody else who thinks they decide what goes on, even for a minute on Fox News Channel? Rupert Murdoch, according to that New York Times piece, has muzzled Billo, kept him from speaking his mind because, as the Times put it, what Billo said, quote, could create real consequences for Fox's parent corporation. How dare you muzzle O'Reilly, Mr. Murdoch? How dare you, sir? This is the essence of corporate interference in the marketplace of ideas, and it is shameful and avast, matey. Solidarity, brother Bill. Free yourself from your corporate shackles. Solidarity. Rupert Murdoch, who could never get away with that here. Today's worst person in the world.